Everybody, my name is T Flame here, and today I wanted to do a discussion about something that I think people in that play competitive Pokemon should take into account. Maybe just consideration more than like an actual firm decision, because I feel like there's something in this generation we're seeing something new. Things like Blaziken are actually getting unbanned and looked at, and actually are seen that they're not that broken, and things like Zamazenta Crown being in the conversation and Uber box art possibly being let loose in the OU tier. I feel like this generation is allowing a lot more things to get tested rather than written off. And I feel like Moody is one of those things that needs to be talked about. Before I get into this, I'm going to say, one, no, I'm not a super, I don't play OU every day. But I do watch a lot of Joey, like Pokeaim, and Blunder, and Emvee, and Finchinator, and all those good old people that do a lot of showdown. Specifically, shout out to Blunder agency. But something that I've noticed in a lot of things that a lot of battles, I feel like Moody on these two Pokemon would not be broken because of what is in the OU tier and these Pokemon being really bad Pokemon. That's basically, without even getting further to the video, if you want to know what I'm about to discuss, these Pokemon are both really bad Pokemon. They do not have the stats or the real moves to take advantage of Moody to the fullest extent. And OU has a lot of really hard hitters and bulky Pokemon. If you wanted the short summary version, that's it. But really, getting into this discussion, one of the main things I really want to talk about is Moody is broken, of course. But the Pokemon that is on it and what it requires, it does not have in this generation. With only Octillery and Glalie being the only two Pokemon having Moody, I really don't think it's broken, okay? You could argue, yeah, okay, if Octillery gets a few special attack boosts and a speed boost, it might be scary. But here's the thing. Look at the stats of Octillery. Octillery is better than Glalie, okay? Out of the two of them, Octillery would technically be the better one. But, I mean, they're both the only two Pokemon to get Moody, so we'll talk about them both. But, okay. Max speed, it has crap speed. At max speed, Dragapult, it would need to get, at +2 speed, Dragapult would still outspeed it. So it would need to get multiple speed boosts. But that's the thing. If you're getting speed boosts, you're not getting defensive boosts or offensive boosts. Dragapult kills this thing. Even if you get a special defense boost, which you would get after you take something from Dragapult, if you are able for somehow be able to take a Thunderbolt, like, which I don't think you do, like, you would have, if you run a Focus Sash maybe, you would need to get a special defense boost and then protect. But then, here's the thing, if you're getting boosted in one stat, you're not getting boosted in your other stat. These Pokemon need boosts in every stat to be viable. Like, you could say, oh, special attack stats, a special attack boost would be too much to handle. But here's the thing. It's not, if it's getting special attack boost, it's not getting speed boost. Or it's not getting defensive boost. And something is always being lowered. Out of all of these 5 stats, something is being lowered. Maybe if you get lucky and the attacks being the only thing that's lowered. I mean, maybe. But here's the thing. You would need to get a special attack boost, and a speed boost, and a defensive boost. You can't get all of those at the same time. You could argue that you got things like Rest and Dive and Bounce and Protect that could deal with those, that could help you get those boosts. So here's the thing. Let's say you run a stat where you can maximize your boost. What are you touching? Like, you're not touching a Toxapex with Bounce. I don't care how many boosts you get. You're not touching a Toxapex with Bounce, right? And if you get burned, you're going to have to rest. And if you're resting, you're not going to be able to... If you're resting, you're vulnerable for something else coming in and start setting up, right? And then you're going to have to substitute again. But then you substitute again, you lose some of your HP. Like, it's not an ideal thing. Like, it's not... I don't think it's overly broken. Especially because, literally, when we look at the OU tier, there's a lot of Pokemon in there that are really, 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 really strong. Kartana is one that comes to mind that literally craps on both of these things. And Kartana, a lot of people don't think Kartana is broken because it doesn't have special defense at all. But here's the thing. Octillery does have a really good move pool. It gets a lot of moves. It gets Flamethrower, Energy Ball. Like, if you look at this thing on paper, like, there's a lot of special moves. You're telling me you can boost all its stats in each turn? Forget lowering one. Getting boosted to make this thing... No, but here's the thing. if you want to take advantage of those boosts, you're going to have to lose some of the moves. You can't run Energy Ball, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Scald all in the same set and then expect to get the most out of Moody, because you're not going to be able to sit back and get some boosts. You're going to have to consistently be offensive. And when you're consistently being offensive, what stops something from coming in and being more offensive and killing you? Like, Artillery is not fast at all. Even if it start getting speed boosts, it's not getting special attack boosts. And it would need multiple speed boosts to outspeed everything, all the Choice Scarfers and all the non-Choice Scarfers in the tier. You're going to need at least 2 speed boosts in order to do that. And that's the thing. There's no guaranteeing it. Even then, like I said, if you're getting speed boosts, you're not getting offensive boosts. You're not getting defensive boosts. Like, you need boosts in every stat to be a threat. Like, even when you get the defensive boost, you're not overly defensive. You're not a Toxapex. You're not a Clefable. Even with the defense boost, you're not. You're just simply not. And you're getting weaker with a stat drop every turn as well. So you can't get everything you want in a row. Even when you get what you want, that's not gonna make you broken. Even if you get defenses and special attack boosts and speed boosts, that would take multiple turns, and someone would have to sit back and let you get the boost. Like, literally, someone would have to sit back and just keep switching and not doing anything in order to let these Pokemon be able to start becoming a threat. And I'm pretty sure people are gonna know what these things do and not let that happen, especially with the Pokemon that are there in the tier. Like, Artillery has offensive capabilities, but it's slow and does not have any defensive. Glalie is even worse. I mean, Glalie does have good coverage like Earthquake and Crunch and like Shadow Ball, but realistically, it's an Ice type. It has to run heavy-duty boots. Both of these Pokemon would have to run heavy-duty boots in order to not take Stealth Rock or Toxic Spike damage. But then, or maybe get weakened by a Sticky Web. But if you're running heavy-duty boots, you're not running leftovers. You can't get passive recovery. You're not running a Chesto Berry to wake up from rest. And then if you only have heavy-duty boots, that means you have to run rest for recovery. And then if you run rest for recovery, you become vulnerable for 2 turns. Even if you substitute and rest, you still have 1 turn that you're completely vulnerable. Like let's say you substitute, right? And then you're going to click rest on the next turn. Something can definitely break that substitute in the turn that you rest, and then you're sitting there for 2 turns and just can get destroyed by anything that decides to come in. Yeah, you're getting boosts, but you can't do anything in return. Like, Glalie, it's weak. Max speed Glalie. I mean, Glalie's technically better stats, kinda defensively and speed-wise, but offensively, base 80 is not good. I mean, when it gets boosts, it kind of becomes better, but it doesn't have the defensive presence. When you have a really offensive types like Steel and Fire and Fighting, and just everything that can deal with you and Fire, like really offensive moves, and you're weak to them, it doesn't matter how many boosts you get, you're still going to be weak to that. Like, let's look at the Pokemon in the tier, mainly. This is where my main argument comes from, that this is not really that broken. Barrascue to Close Combat, craps on both of them. Artillery, if you're running a really, offensive Artillery with Flamethrower and freaking Scald and all that, Blissey destroys you, because Blissey's special defense is enormous. It doesn't matter how many boosts you get, Blissey is going to sit there and absorb them and keep healing and toxic you. And maybe, even if it doesn't toxic, Seismic Toss is going to build up damage. Like, you're not beating a Blissey with Artillery and Glalie. You'd have to run offense, but if you're running offense, you're not getting the coverage you need. Like, what are you going to run? Ice Fang Glalie with Earthquake? Okay, but then what are you going to touch? What happens if what happens if a Ferrothorn comes in? What are you going to do? Take damage from that? Like, for real, Earthquake's not doing that much to Ferrothorn. Like, for real, it's not. Sorry about my keyboard popping up. But, I mean, if you run most of Artillery's coverage moves are special, and Blissey craps on it. Corviknight, I mean, Artillery has Flamethrower to deal with it, but if it's running Flamethrower, that means it can't touch. It has to run Water Stab. So if it's running Flamethrower, it can't touch Toxapex. If it's in turn running Psychic to deal with Toxapex, it can't touch Ferrothorn. Like, it has to choose. It can't touch all of them. And Heatran craps on it. I mean, maybe Glalie has Earthquake, but if you're running Earthquake, you're limited. Like, that's what I'm saying. These Pokemon may have moves to deal with things in the OU tier, but it only has a 4-move slot, and it needs moves to take advantage of Moody, like Rest or Substitute. And if it wants to deal with some of the Pokemon in OU, it can't take full advantage of Moody. And if it can't take full advantage of Moody, they become Glalie and Octillery with maybe a few boosts. And those Pokemon with only a few boosts trying to do anything to any of these OU Pokemon it's not. It's not touch. I mean, Hippowdon maybe. They both do it. They both do good because like they have their stabs are super effective. But like you got Garchomp, which can come in and just start hitting it really hard with its stabs. It's not taking an Earthquake or both these things are not appreciating Earthquakes or Dragon Claws from a freaking Garchomp. They're not. They're simply not taking it. Landorus can come in. I mean, it's Landorus could lose both of them. I'm not going to argue that. But then you got Kartana, which chucks both of them. Glalie not taking a smart strike. It's just simply not. And freaking Leaf Blade destroys Octillery. And since these things can't get evasion boosts, these moves are always going to hit. So how are you going to take a Leaf Blade? You're not. Even at, I'm pretty sure, even at maybe like +4 defense, you might barely live on Octillery. Like, Kartana has a really high attack stat. You're not, like, Octillery and Glalie are not appreciating anything from Kartana. Latios can literally start setting up its own Calm Minds and start destroying them. Latios has freaking Aura Sphere, and it can deal with both of them. Like, Octillery's not taking a Draco Meteor. Magearna can freaking shift gear and then Thunderbolt. Like, Rillaboom has priority on both of them, and none of them are taking a Grassy Surge boosted freaking Grassy Glide. You could argue Glalie can hit it super effectively, but Rillaboom has super effective coverage as well. Like, I think, what does it have? It has Drain Punch and Brick Break, like, and Body Press. Literally, it can deal with it. It has the offensive presence. And then Cinderace, Pyro Ball, none of them are appreciating it. I mean, it could U-turn out of Octillery, but then there's too many Pokemon that deal with it. Like Hydreigon, Thunderbolt, freaking Melmetal, even Octillery being resisted, it's not appreciating a double Iron Bash at all. If it wants to run Flamethrower to deal with Melmetal, how is it going to touch water types? Literally, it cannot touch water types. Spectrier, literally, it's getting better, and it's going to be more common because Dark or Shifu is getting banned. So, I mean, none of these things are taking a freaking Choice Specs Shadow Ball. And Spectrier can freaking set up a substitute of its own if it wants to. Tapu Lele, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, Tapu Bulu. All these things hit hard. Literally come and smack these things, and what are they going to do? The freaking substitute or protect, it's not going to matter when there's a freaking Tapu on the other side. Maybe Tapu Fini, because it's bulky and not really offensive, you can set up on it. But realistically, it's still bulky. You're not touching it. Like, maybe Freeze Dry on Glalie, but then Tapu Fini could just start setting up its own Calm Minds if it wants to. Tornado's not really, but Toxapex. I mean, Tyranitar loses to Octillery technically, and Glalie has Earthquake, but then still, it gets a special defense boost with the Sandstream and can smack you with a really hard attack stat. Like, it's not like, oh, you get an offensive boost and you can just start sweeping through everything. You can't. These Pokemon do not have the really good offensive stats in order to sweep through everything. It has the multiples, kinda, but when you don't have the stats, when you don't have the real offensive pressure that you need, you're going to need multiple boosts in order to really take advantage of anything. And when you have really bulky and really offensive Pokemon, getting a few boosts is not going to really matter. Like, I feel like this thing should be suspect tested at the bare minimum, or just maybe be considered. I understand the metagame needs to settle down a little bit, but still, a lot of these Pokemon, like Volcarona, you could just Focus Sash, keep setting up Quiver Dances, and crap on both of them. Like, Octillery is going to be special. If it wants to take advantage, if it wants to have any coverage, it's going to have to be special. If it's not special, it gets destroyed by Toxapex and Ferrothorn. Like, there's no way it checks everything in the tier. Even things like Aegislash, it can switch constantly between things. And yes, these Pokemon could be considered very annoying, but there are annoying things in Pokemon. Pokemon is not new to annoying things. Aegislash being able to switch between defenses and really high defenses and really high offenses it's freaking annoying. I mean, Galarian Zapdos can keep Thundurus kicking and destroy both of them, lowering the defensive stats. Like, there's a lot of annoying Pokemon. Ferrothorn being able to sit back, set up, and Leech Seed and not be able to be toxic, that's annoying. Toxapex is annoying. Clefable's annoying. There's annoying Pokemon in OU. Being annoying does not mean broken, okay? Like, I just want people to think that. Being annoying does not mean broken. And people can argue, well, we want to balance metagame without annoying stuff, but Clefable's right there. Toxapex is right there. defensive Pokemon are right there. They can be considered the most annoying Pokemon, but they're not considered broken. I mean, if you want to consider those broken, then, well, that's another conversation. But I just think this is food for thought. I really think people should just look at it. I'm no competitive expert, like I said. So, but I really just think it needs to be looked at, because a lot of OU can really punish all of these Pokemon, even if they try to set up Moody's. They are limited. If they want to really take advantage of Moody, they're limited into what moves they can run. If they're limited to what moves they can run, they can't really be extremely offensive, which when you have a really offensive metagame like OU, and with a lot of bulk behind it as well, like, you can't have the best of both worlds. Like, artillery can't be extremely bulky and extremely special and extremely offensive and really fast at the same time. You can't do that. In order to be able to do that, you need multiple times to progress. And is an opponent really going to sit there and just let you boost yourself? I really don't think anyone's going to let that happen. But that's just food for thought. I just hope y'all consider that video. Love y'all, and peace out.